This video will show you how to pull the patient's information onto the ECG device and how to transmit the result into the electronic patient record. We will also show you how to view and comment on the ECG within the patient's record. When you first turn on the device, you'll be presented with this screen. You need to select the patient information icon. We need to pull the patient's information into the yellow mandatory fields. For this patient, a request has been placed in the electronic patient record, so we are going to select MWL. We now need to bring up a list of our patients for the department that we are working in. We are going to drop down query code. Here you can see the different departments within the organisation, and you can use the arrows to click through. For training, we're going to select today, and then we need to make sure that we select the sync icon. We can now see that the transmission is complete, and we are then going to select done. We can now see a list of our patients that have had an ECG requested. If you have several patients on the list, for a quick process you can always use the search worklist functionality. You also have arrows down at the bottom that you can navigate through the list with. Once you have located your patient, simply select them to pull their information into the mandatory fields. We also have an option to input some additional information. Here you can see that we have a tech field. There you can input the person completing the ECG. We also have a comment box. In the comment box you can have up to 20 characters. For example, you could write that your patient is having chest pain. And you also have the option to input a pain score for the patient as well, on a scale of 0 to 10. Once complete, we've selected done, and it will take us to the ECG screen. Our patient's details are up at the top left, and the ECG has all been connected. We then select the ECG. It will automatically display the ECG result for the patient. At the right, you have the option to erase this result, print, or select ID if you wish to input a comment or change the pain score. We are happy with this ECG and no additional information is required, so we are going to select transmit. Once the ECG has been sent into the patient's record, you will be presented with the transmission complete status. You can then select done. This takes you back to the ECG results, so then finally select done. Now, let's take a look at where we can view an ECG in the electronic patient record and where we can add comments on an ECG report. We have opened up our patient's record and we are now going to select Result Review from the blue menu. You would be able to see your cardiology results under Recent Results, but we are going to select the Cardiology tab. Here you can see that you have got an ECG, and we're just going to double click to open up the final report. Within the report you have an attachment that you're going to select, and this will load up the ECG. Once reviewed, you can then select the crosses to exit. As a nurse or a nursing assistant, you can insert an addendum by right-clicking on the final report and selecting Modify. Here it will allow you to insert an addendum by free text. So for example, you could write a comment to say that you have escalated the ECG to the lead clinician. Once complete, select Sign. Then select Yes to make this change. You can now see a red header for the report, indicating that the report has an addendum. Now, if you are a clinician, you can add a report comment. To do this, right-click on the result and select Add Comment. You then need to select OK. You can then input some text in the free text box, for example, ECG reviewed. You will then select OK. The star next to the report indicates there has been a report comment added, and on the final report, this will display as a result comment. If a request has not been placed in the electronic patient record, select the patient information icon. We need to pull the patient's details into the mandatory fields by selecting PDQ. We then select in the ID and input the patient's MRN or NHS number. Then select Done. We then need to sync the device. This will pull the patient's details into the mandatory fields, and we can now complete the ECG as previously shown in the video.